Okay, I admit all administration stuff is not equally important. That's obvious. Sometimes we're asked to do things that we know deep down they're not urgent. They're things that need to be done, but they don't have to be done today or tomorrow. They need to be done once a year, whatever. The odd time, some things actually don't need to be done at all. Maybe somebody just asked for that. However, one thing I have learned is some things are very important. Not to tick a box. I'm not really into that much. I could really think about students. How does admin help our students? And I think that's very, very important. Now, the first thing is, and this is probably off the top of my head, is the most difficult area we have in admin, or the area that causes most problems, and that is people not keeping an accurate record of how their students are progressing. So, for example, if you're not noting, let's say a daily teacher, if you're not noting the actual attendance pattern in a given month, but you're kind of making this up, I don't mean lying, but at the end of the month, when we're chasing you for it, you're going, well, I know Susan attended most of the lessons, and you report it that way. The problem with that is we don't get to know what is the pattern. It's very important for a number of reasons. For example, in Salt Lake, they don't monitor every individual student, and they're most certainly not monitoring you as a teacher to see how you're behaving. They're monitoring patterns so they can make very good curriculum decisions. So if we have students who, for example, in their first month in term one, generally don't attend as regularly as they ought to, or they're always arriving late, it's good to know this so we can make better decisions. But on a local level, it's good to know. It's good to know for you as a teacher. It's good to know for me so that I can help you. It's good to know for local priesthood leaders and parents. What are the patterns? What's really happening in the class? I never, ever reflect any of these things on the teacher. All teachers are dependent upon the behavior of their students. And if we take it up a level, their parents and so on. But it is important we know accurately what's happening. And that means you must keep a daily list of students who are attending. Can I just say, not the purpose of this video, students arriving in late, you can mark them present. That's okay. If you have a student who's always arriving after half the class has already started, you need to have a chat with them. You know, you can use your judgment on this. You don't have to be fanatical. Even more important, though, the foundation of seminary is the scripture text in relation to the students. You need to know, as a previous training segment has discussed, you need to know where the students are at with their reading. But most importantly, you need to be recording this. Now, you don't need to send this to me all the time, but you should know each week where each student is. It's not simple. So we'll take John. You need to know if John is supposed to be, they set different goals. So if John, for example, by this Friday should be around, Doctrine and Covenants section 3 or something like that, then you should ask him that. Where is he at? Now, again, you decide what is the best way. Some students don't like being put on the spot. We don't want to embarrass students or anything like that, but you need to know each week where each student is. If a month goes by, you simply don't know where students are, I would get alarmed at that point. I mean, I as a teacher would get alarmed because I'm beginning to wonder, where are they at? But also, previous training talked about setting patterns and expectations. What you're really telling the students is that, for example, reading, it's not really that important. I just ask you that every so often because Brother Brophy is going to be chasing me. That's not really what it's about. You should know where they're at and set good patterns at the very beginning of term to do this. One other there are a lot of admin items. Let me give you one about assessments. A lot of teachers approach assessments, I have found, the way they think they should be approached. The purpose of the assessment is not to get a grade and to decide this is where my student is at. The purpose of the assessment is to assess what the student is learning. So the first thing is, and there are exceptions to this, I do appreciate this, but the first thing in terms of admin is we need to know if a student is marked as having got an 82%, is that accurate? Did the student do the assessment by themselves, not as a class? You don't do the assessment as a class. This will be a separate training. We'll talk about this. But we're assessing where they are at, and we're accurately recording that assessment so that we can make better decisions as teachers how to help our students, and administrators can make better decisions about how to improve seminary in general, particularly curriculum. So admin is important in general, but some admin is not as important as others. It is crucial you send attendance into us once a week, or you yourself might be noting it on Wise. Let me give one other practical example. of this. I spoke to a teacher earlier on this year, that's at the end of the 2019-20 year, and I was speaking to the teacher about how their final year students can transition into institute. We often lose students at that point, not only institute, but young adults as well. So I had said, you can have a chat with the teacher, with the students, I should say, and encourage them to attend institute, and also chat to their parents. It doesn't matter if they haven't quite turned 18, if they've completed seminary, indeed in their last term of seminary, as long as it's not interfering with school studies, and of course seminary itself, they can attend institute. Now, in one particular case, I had from one seminary class alone in institute, 3 students did indeed attend the last lesson of the term of institute. They attended that last lesson, but that was the end of the term. It is so crucial for the teacher to note that down. Why? Because in the next term, we have a record and we can spot this. Oh, there is, Richard who attended, and I didn't realize he had attended. Let's reach out to him and invite him. But if we had missed those 3 students, and the fact that they did attend, which means they were willing to attend at least once, maybe twice, depending on the particular class, then that is a good tool in order to reach out to people. So that's the way I look at admin that way. It's not simply ticking boxes. I use admin to help my students to have a better learning experience. So what am I asking? I'm asking that during the school year, you make sure you take care of the important admin items on time, all the time. And it makes life easier for you, for your students, and also for me and Alison in the office. So please don't let us be constantly chasing you for admin stuff. I hope we've never been mean about that. But it is important because of those reasons. We want to get accurate information about each student, how they are progressing. And it's important you do that. So if you set that pattern early, use whatever method is useful to you. Go in every day into WISE, once a week. You can send the material to us, but whatever way you do it is fine, but we need to get it once a week. That's basically what I'm saying because of these reasons, and I hope that explains it in some way. Thank you for your help with that.